Good day, Las Vegas, and welcome back to VegasVibes Junction, your new home to enjoy the best coffee and wine while taking a peek at what's grooving and brewing in the music, pageantry, live production, and fascinating scenes in the city that never sleeps. And I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. I would like to thank the hundreds of thousands of loyal viewers of VegasVibes Junction on Vegas Live TV, WC TV, and BingeNetworks.tv, especially those watching on my favorite devices, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung and LG Smart TVs, Pizzazz.tv, and HeroGo TV. Plus, of course, in my very own website, VegasVibes.us. Please continue to support my show as well as my Vegas Vibes network by telling your friends to like Vegas Vibes Junction on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I also would like to thank the millions of visitors who came to Vegas this month, as we continue to celebrate the Vegas Vibes Junction moment that Las Vegas is fully but cautiously open. We continue to encourage all locals and visitors to be more responsible in dealing with the extension of the pandemic, so we can all reap the benefits of a safer and peaceful community. When Vegas Vibes Junction returns, I'll be interviewing award-winning writer, journalist, media personality, and host, and the author of Bakey-Wakey Little Baby, Maryanne Louise Viernes. So guys, freeze that remote until Vegas Vibes Junction returns.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to Vegas Vibes, and here with us today is an award-winning writer, journalist, media personality, and host, and she's here to share with us her latest creation, the author of Bakey-Wakey Little Baby. I'm so proud to have on Vegas Vibes Junction, Maryanne Louise Viernes.
Thank you so much, Miss Esmeralda, the very lovely Miss Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today. It's a very, very great show, and I'm so happy, right, to be able to share with other people my first book, my newest child, right, my passion project. So thank you so much, Miss Esmeralda, for having me here today.
Well, I have read your book, and there's no denying that this is very near and dear to your heart, because it is based from your personal experience as a mother, and the character was inspired by a real person, and that's your daughter, Brooklyn Mackenzie. Please tell us more about it.
Yay. So thank you so much. Yeah, first of all, again, more thanks to you. So number one, you showed my support. So the very first time, because I launched this book only August of this year, August of 2022, it was first launched only on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. And then I thought of like maybe promoting it through my events. And this lovely lady here was one of my first few believers. So I'll never forget that moment. Thank you so much, Miss Esmeralda. Yeah, so basically this is definitely like what she mentioned. It's definitely something close to my heart, maybe even close to my womb. Because when I was carrying my daughter, so I'm a proud mother to my beloved son, Godric Matthew, my firstborn. And then my baby girl, right? I have two baby girls actually. One is Muffin, the Shih Tzu right here. And the other one is my daughter, Brooklyn Mackenzie, who's becoming more and more like me every day, right? With her energy and her looks. So I would, like, if you read the book, I would say that my daughter co-authored it with me because it was during the first trimester of my pregnancy. It was very difficult, right? Maybe because I'm older, or it was definitely different from my first pregnancy. When I had my son, when I was carrying my son, it was much easier. But when I had my daughter, there were like more complications. It was a tough time, but I mean, the light at the end of the tunnel was that I dreamt of this beautiful story. And in that dream, my daughter was actually dictating the very words to me, right? And so when I woke that day, I think it was sometime February 2021, I furiously scribbled, you know, because like we forget, right? After we wake up, we go through our day, we tend to forget. So I remember that I was writing it down, everything that I dreamt of, right? And then it took a while, like a process, and I had a first version. So to those who got a copy of my book, the original version is actually at the back, right? And then through the process, I decided to like improve it, work with a very wonderful Filipino illustrator. She's very talented. Her name is Sara Salamat. And you'll find her name here too.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Yes, I'm so happy. So she was very good in like maybe following my directions, how I envisioned my book to be, everything from the colors, and I also had my son's inputs. Although my son, you know, I mean, being a boy, right? He's like, oh, it's very girly. It's a lot of pink, but that's why I tried to balance it out with a little bit of green, blue tones, right? Something that would appeal to a lot of people, and you know, hopefully mostly to kids, right? So there it is. I described it as something that that's all about a mother's love, right? So I likened raising our children and carrying our children from the womb into or as baking, right? So as they say, you're baking a bun in the oven. So I literally took that and turned it into a book. So now I have Bakey-Wakey Little Baby.
And that's how you came up with the title.
Yeah, so it's like not wakey, right? I always tell my son before, okay, wakey, right? I tell him wake up. It's kind of difficult to pull him from bed. But now with my daughter, yeah, so I made it Bakey-Wakey Little Baby. So likening maybe breads and cake, sweet stuff, my favorite stuff, to how it was carrying my daughter, right? Waiting, you know, joyfully anticipating the arrival of my children. And about my son again, so you'll see like a lot of things about my family here, especially my three children, Godric, Brooklyn, and my puppy, Muffin. And I think the best description for this would be like my son says, oh, you know what, Mom, this is like a fat kid's dream. So that's his description. Like, oh, this is like a kid who loves sweets and pastries. That's you know, that kid's dream come true. So so there, it's a lot of like, I would say eye candy or eye cake, eye sweets, eye pastries. So it's a combination of like a few words, right? Like a poem. I turn it into like something a little bit like poetry, right? You know, rhyming words and stuff, just so it will appeal to kids. But I think there's a lot of things here that will also make the reader excited and delighted as you turn through every single page.
Did I hear it right that this is the first book that you have published?
Yes, so this is my first book. So like going back as well with me as a writer, I started out in the Philippines. When I was 17, I won a Carlos Palanca Award for Literature. So that really somehow, how do you say it, maybe helped me build confidence, right? That I could start a career, I could start a life as a writer. And so I've been thankful. It's been a very affirming journey, right? In the Philippines and here moving to Vegas. I even got the chance to write for the Philippine Times. Yay!
Tell us about your column.
Oh yeah, here. So basically like everything, all the opportunities that I got affirms that I can write, right? So while I'm trying to work on my masterpieces, while I'm working on the rest of my dreams, I cannot complain, right? Because life has been so good. There are many things I'm grateful for, but is it tough? Yes. You know, it's always a balancing act, and you try to never forget, right? I've been guilty of putting my dreams in the back burner for a long, long time because I know being a novelist, being an author, being a writer is something that I've always known, right? When I was like 7 years old, I know I've always wanted to do that. I even remember the first book that I read. It was The Roly Poly Kitten. And I could remember myself reading everything except the word the. I keep saying ta. Ha. I mean, yeah. So that's what I always wanted to do. So whatever, like things like this, like working for the Manila Times, the Philippine Times.
Philippine
now.
Times.
In the Philippines, I worked for the Manila Times, and now it's the Philippine Times here in the States. So yeah. So thank you so much, Tita Nadia.
Yeah,
and Mr.
Miss Nadia
Carlos.
Arroyo of Philippine
Yes.
Times.
So I have a column here. So every time there's a new issue of the Philippine Times of Southern Nevada, you will see my column. It's called American Dream, right? So it's a play on my name, Mary. So it's American Dream, and it's basically like everything that I do, like many of the events and activities that I'm part of. So yeah, so you see a bit of my book there too. So yeah, just a few tidbits about the things that I'm very blessed to be able to do.
And to cover what's happening in the Filipino
Yes,
community
yes.
here in Las Vegas. And actually, Philippine Times is a media partner of Vegas Live TV.
Yes,
And we're
yeah,
so
part
proud of
the
them.
family.
Yes, we're so proud of it. Well, wow. You mentioned you won an award when you were 17, a prestigious event. And was that the time, I mean, what's the catalyst that led you to write books? Like, when did you learn the power of language?
Okay. Well, I would say that ever since I was a young girl, I'd like to join contests. Even as a little girl, I'd like to be in the libraries in elementary school. In high school, I do the same thing. I like to, I would make some money. Then I remember my first gig was, catering to my rich neighbors. Right, their kids did not want to write their book reports. So I remember like breezing through C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And I just like quickly read through it, got the gist, and I made my book report and earned some money, right? So before, those were like small things, side gigs that I used to do as a kid. But then, you get higher roles. When I was in college in LaSalle, they gave me an editorial role. But again, like going back to the Carlos Palanca Award, which is a national award, right? It was really a source of joy, an affirmation for me. That's when I thought that maybe I can take writing seriously. And then it was around also that I was in high school. Sorry, I was in high school when we were first introduced to the Harry Potter books, right? And I could remember like reading books 1, 2, 3 for just one day. I mean, like I could not get enough of those stories. So I loved Harry Potter. And then even then, I mean, they were just being introduced to the world. I knew it's gonna explode. And so now we live in Harry Potter world right now. And then I remember book four. That I cried over the death of Cedric Diggory during the Triwizard Tournament. Sorry, nerd stuff, right? So I mean those things, and then like Harry Potter had this, etch itself in my heart that I named my son Godric, right? People keep asking, why is your son's name Godric? And I said, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you'd know it's after Godric Gryffindor, stuff like those. When I was young, I'm like, no, if I have a son, I'm gonna name him Godric, right? So I really like the meanings behind names. So it also means like one who rules with the power of God. And so I reminded my son that. And then like my daughter's second name, so my daughter's name is Brooklyn Mackenzie, right? Back then I was so obsessed with J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter. So I said, if I have a daughter, I have to name her Mackenzie because J.K. Rowling's daughter is named Mackenzie. I mean, stuff like those, right? That I really did follow through when I had my kids.
Do you believe in writer's block? I think
Yes, well,
and how do you cope with that?
I mean, my problem now is not really so much as writer's block. I mean, before I would make it an excuse, but when I just sit down, if I'm in a relaxed place, in a nice place where everything's clean, I know I could write. But now my major problem is not so much writer's block. I mean, since moving to the States, I mean, I find inspiration everywhere, nature and stuff. My problem now is my children blocking my writing. I mean, like, I try to make money, do my work, do the gigs that make me happy. And my son, right? I'm my son and my daughter, so I bring my son to school, and then my daughter, she also demands a lot of attention. So I think it's not anymore writer's block that's like blocking me. It's really like trying to cope up with day-to-day.
Balancing motherhood and
that's so true.
Your passion.
But at the same time, I mean, I cannot really complain because at the greater scheme of things, when you take a look, I mean.
They're your inspiration.
Yes, they're my inspiration, and I was actually able to push out my first book alongside my daughter, right? So I think, I even gave her a first birthday with the theme Bakey-Wakey, right? Bakey-Wakey Little Baby birthday party theme.
So what's next for Mary?
Well, definitely, like this one is another. I actually got an award, right? Thanks to some of our friends.
Congratulations!
My book got an award. And then now I'm coming up with a one with a seal, with a FAHAM seal, Filipino American Heritage Arts Museum seal, right? So I'm coming up with that, but it should not stop there, right? Because this one was just more of like testing the waters, like trying to see if I can really do it, right? And then actually the real dream, right? The real dream is like getting my YA and my fiction novels published, right? That's a dream. But since I've been blessed also to work to work for a lot of events, right? As I MC for a few events also, and then I get to like even travel. So I thought, why not like try to publish my first book and let's see
And make
where
a
that
series
takes
of
us.
it.
Yeah, and hopefully, yeah, we get there. And then again, yeah, it goes back again to, you know, time again. So I mean, like this one is a very short book, right? It's very thin, but people don't know. I mean, it took me like a year or so to finish it, and then it's well, but these books, I think they can take like maybe 1, 2, 3 months to finish. But it's just that really with my schedule, with my children who always come first, you have to really edit it down, right, to make sure that once it's out, you're not gonna, you know, it's very costly. It's very there's a lot of consequences if you publish it without giving it a degree of like I wouldn't say perfection, right? But at least it has to be accurate. It has to not have typos, not, you know, serious grammatical errors or anything, right? Otherwise, you waste your previous efforts. So I think, yeah. So definitely, I really want to push my next books out, and then I want to publish traditionally as well for my novels.
So does that mean we will be concentrating in children's book?
Children's and like novels.
Novels.
Yeah. So, but the problem is when. Yeah, that's my question for myself. Like it's carving out time, but I always believe that if you really believe in something, if you really want to do something, you're always gonna find the time, right? But at the same time, I keep saying, oh, I'm enjoying my dog, I'm enjoying with my daughter, I'm enjoying with my son, so I keep procrastinating. I mean, I hate that. Sorry for using the word procrastinating, but my dreams deserve, you know, a chance to be out there.
Being a mother is a full-time job.
I know, yeah.
But if you weren't writing, what do you think your job would be?
Not writing. I said absolutely not writing, because like my, you know, I do other jobs.
Like what?
Like I also work for a law firm. Like I'm a paralegal. But so basically, my entire life I've been writing. I really like communication, like speaking and writing. That's really my thing. But now that I think of it, like now that I'm here, I would have pursued something in the medical field simply because I wanted to serve people. And now that you know, almost many of our friends are like nurses and doctors, right? You really see the sacrifices. Like back then in the Philippines, people will just tell you, oh, you have to be a nurse or a doctor so you get a lot of money, right? That's it.
That will take more time away from your family.
Right, exactly. But now that you see here, it's not, yeah, maybe it is financially rewarding, but at the same time, it really takes sacrifice.
Yes.
Like I have a couple of best friends. They're like, sometimes they work 3, 4, 5 days straight.
Yes, and 12-hour shifts.
That's very true, right? And like, you don't really get a medal, right? Because you're supposed to help people, but I can really see that they really merit their pandemic title of being frontliners. I mean, pandemic heroes. That's very true because, you know, sacrifice, being away from your family, and even being physically, you know, compromised and vulnerable, especially during the pandemic, it really takes a lot.
Yes, kudos to everyone. I mean, in the medical field who has given a great sacrifice.
That's so true.
For us to get through this pandemic.
That's very true. And although like maybe that didn't work out because like I'm like when I gave birth, when I went to I mean I hated it. I mean I don't really like being there. I mean, you know, it's a dream, right? You'd want to do that if you could, but being in the hospital, seeing blood, it's
not for everyone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what it is. But if I could, and if I couldn't write, and if I weren't writing, then that's definitely something, right, that you'd want to do.
You mentioned superheroes. If you had a power of any superheroes, what would it be and why?
Wow. So ever since I was a child, I just wanted to fly. Like it's, I don't know, the sense of being free, number one. Being able to go wherever you want to be. Definitely, I want to fly. Actually, that's something that I always discuss with my son. He keeps asking that lately. He's like, oh, if you had a power, and he keeps making me choose. But I always end up wanting to fly. Like freedom, for me, is everything. Right, that's very important for me, and sometimes I would have dreams of flying and then falling. So it's something that I hope someday that I can really do.
So I've asked you what's next for you, but what is the definition of success for you? Like, where do you want to see yourself 5, 10 years from now? Okay. A legacy you want to leave behind to your children?
So, well, definitely, like everything, I would like to think that everything that I do, I always involve my children, right? And if it's something prestigious, you know, something cool like this one. Like I would like to say that this is a fun thing to do. I would like them to see that, you know, they're always a part. Like I leave like clues. No, in this situation, it's not clues, right? They're there, right? They're there in the pages. So, but everything I do, I always consider my kids, my son and my daughter most especially. So definitely hopefully sooner, 5 to 10 years from now, I really want to be #1 a published author, and then #2, see hopefully my books, my published work out there, right? And then maybe someday see them turn into to movies, hopefully, or series, right? Because I think like, if you put a work of art, a literary work out there, it's going to be there forever, right? Some of my favorite classics, my favorite like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and C.S. Lewis's work, and even The Alchemist. That's my favorite right now. Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. These stories, they're never bound by time, maybe even by space, because I think stories and tales make one immortal. And I believe that all of the myths and the tales, they somehow hold a grain of truth, right? And I even would, like my son, I mean, he likes to engage with discussion with me. So before, when he was younger, I'd say, oh, you know, the gods and the goddesses in Greek mythology and the elves in Lord of the Rings, you know, those were real people. And he would laugh at me and like, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. But then now that he's doing his own studies, right? He's trying to study religion, history. He's trying to see, maybe you were right. Maybe the elves did leave, you know. I mean, maybe
right.
Stuff like that. Sorry, but what I'm trying to say is like, the good thing for me about literature, about art, is that it holds more truth than what we think that they truly hold.
So you're more into
reading,
nonfiction.
Well, more fiction, but I do enjoy nonfiction from time to time. Yeah, and then like memoirs. Like my favorite nonfictions would be memoirs. I mean, like it's, you know, knowing a little part of a person, part of their soul, part of their experience makes them human, and sometimes you get to relate to them. So I like reading memoirs for nonfiction, but for fiction, I really like the epic, stories. Yeah, like what I mentioned.
Right. Well, if there's anything that you would like to tell everyone who's aspiring writers out there, what would be pieces of advice or words of wisdom?
All right, so I would say that well, I'd like to quote a line from what I'm watching now, right? From one of Tolkien's works of art. I think it's called The Rings of Power, right? So it says that a journey is something that's just for you, right? Whereas an adventure is meant to be shared by others. So if you wanna write your story, I suggest go for it, right? Go on an adventure, right? So you take a part of you, which is your journey, and turn it into an adventure for others to enjoy and share with you. So just go for it, and you'll never know who you'll inspire, who will appreciate your work. So I think everything that comes from the heart, from the mind, is worth telling. So do tell your story, and good luck. And I hope you can also support Bakey-Wakey Little Baby.
If you can rewrite your story, what would be something that you would like to change
about the story in my life? I think there's nothing really that I would like to change, because like, I mean, sometimes, you know, we think that mistakes are things that we would like to change, but then when we just keep pressing forward, we realize that there's always a lesson, right, in these mistakes. So there's nothing really I would change. Maybe I will just like try to better myself, learn from these mistakes, learn to find like the diamond that forms from the coal, so to speak, right? The beauty that comes from the ashes, something like that. So maybe it's a process of reinventing yourself at every turn, learning from the story, because, you know, the story will only end if you give up, right? And if you don't learn from your past mistakes.
Yes, learning from your mistakes and keep evolving.
Yes, that's
right.
true.
Please invite everyone. Where can people find your book?
Yes, yay! So I'm so happy. Like initially, you can only order it from Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but now it's also being distributed in Walmart, Target, and like online bookstores. So just simply type in Bakey-Wakey Little Baby.
Thank you so much, Mary, and it's a pleasure having you. And congratulations again. We wish you all the best on your current and future endeavors.
Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, catch me again as I feature another amazing personality here on VegasVibes Junction.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
We hope you enjoyed watching this VegasVibes Junction episode as much as I did. Promise to join me again next week on this same fabulous Vegas Vibes network. And to all the global viewers out there, let me remind you that Las Vegas is not just about the world-renowned strip or the famous Fremont Street experience in the vibrant downtown district. It has real people, a lot of them musicians, live entertainers, and those involved in the world of pageantry. And to the people here in the Valley who work hard each day to make Las Vegas a global brand. I would like to feature you and your cool story right here on VegasVibes Junction, either in our studios or online via Zoom. If you believe that's you, please email me now at vegasvibesjunction@gmail.com. Before I go, I would like to thank my wardrobe sponsor, Fontaine, located at the Forum Shops of Caesar's Palace. Fontaine is now open for business as well. You may call Miss Anna Billings at 702-733-6205 to make an appointment. And now for my favorite segment, the Vegas Vibes Closet. Yes, it features an intricate selection of health and beauty products which I personally use. And this week, I'm proud to announce that Vegas Vibes Cosmetics, my very own cosmetics line, has added a variety of shades of matte liquid lipsticks. It has now more shades to choose from. A must for ladies who spend most of their time outside the comfort of their own home for business and social events like myself. Check it out, ladies. Be one of the very first ones to try them out. Visit VegasVibes.us to learn more and order online. Follow VegasVibes Junction on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, or check out VegasVibes.us for updates and announcements. Once again, I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. Thank you for watching. Mwah!